This is the 20th day of January 2009, the day that Barack Obama became the President of the United States. I looked forward to the day, but I'm a little short on money, so I've taken a job to teach out at Gila Ridge High School out east of Yuma. And I didn't have to go until 9:30, so I was getting up and around, dressed, showered, shaved, was watching on CNN, get a telephone call. You'd only actually be teaching a couple of periods out at Gila Ridge, which I didn't know. And we've had a call come in, need an English teacher substitute at Kofa High School. Would you do that? Well, a few years ago, the answer would have been no. But, oh my, have they ever had good administration come into that school, and where it was a terrible place to sub, it's one of the best. They're all good now. So I said, oh, sure. But they rattled me, because they said, well, we need to double check to be sure somebody else hasn't picked it up while we're talking. We'll call you back. So I'm trying to get things together to be ready to leave, because it is 8 o'clock when they call, and they want you at Kofa at 8:30. Going to have students at 8:30. So I get rattled and out of my routine. But I think I've got it together. Get dressed, as far as I knew, properly dressed. And the telephone rings, and it's the automated system telling me that I've been canceled on the job at Gila Ridge. Well, I already knew that. So I didn't listen. Didn't let them go through the rigmarole where you have to push the number acknowledging that you got the call. I didn't have time for that foolishness. I need to get going. So then I get out to the car, got my lunch with me, got my soda with me. Everything's going right. And I'm halfway down the street somewhere, and the telephone rings, and I pull to the side, stop, and take the call, and the lady says it's all set. They do need you at Kofa. I said, I am on my way. Get there, no lesson plan. Call the office. They said, well, we'll check that out. So a few minutes later, they bring me a 3-line lesson plan that here I am, a former junior high English teacher, and her lesson lingo made no sense to me whatsoever. By then I've got kids, and I say to them, tell me. And I read it to them. Do you understand what she wants? No. Bet they did, but I don't know. They looked as confused as me. I even wondered if the secretary that took the call didn't understand what was said. I don't know. But all I know is that I had already put on the board, this is a wonderful day, wow, or something like that. And I had intended to talk with them about the significance of this day in the history of the United States. So I just decided to make an alternate plan and have them write a couple of paragraphs after I'd spent half the period or more talking about the significance of this day in the history of the United States. Well, we're down to the point that, okay, it's time for you, and then I asked them to write at least 2 paragraphs, and if you can write a couple of pages, fine, and try to put that criteria in that your teacher talked about if you know how to do it. So, where the period's half gone, and they're starting to work on writing their papers, and one of the young men got up and came and stood right straight in front of me, and he said, your pants are unzipped. I've never in my life been so embarrassed. But I thanked him, and of course he blocked the view, and I quickly zipped the pants. I guess you need to stay on your routines, particularly when you get to be 80 years of age, so that you know you're dressed when you're dressed. If there was a kid in there that was embarrassed, they were kind to me and did not embarrass me. I was amazed and grateful. Well, comes the second period, and it's the period that it's going to be 12 o'clock noon in Washington, D.C., and the oath is going to be taken. There's an old television there. I mean, literally, I had to dust the heck out of it, including cleaning the screen. It wouldn't come on. Some kid got up and said, and he was kind of the wise guy of the class. I had to settle him down 2 or 3 times. He said, I think I can get it to work. He used chewing gum and tape and created an aerial of some sort, and we got a pretty darn good view of Obama taking the oath of office and giving his speech. And it was a marvelous thing to be in a classroom of students and watch their faces. Sure, it's Yuma, Arizona, and the majority of those kids are of Mexican extraction. A couple of blacks, 3 or 4 maybe at the most, and maybe in a class of 25 or 30, maybe a half a dozen Anglo kids. Didn't matter. Everybody was interested, everybody was attentive, and it was a truly inspiring thing. Not only inspiring because of what we saw and what we heard, but because of seeing that these kids believe this man is going to make our world better and our country safer.